The digital age. A whirlwind of information, yet some truths remain shrouded in shadow, distorted by fear and misinformation. We click, share, judge. Rarely do we stop to consider the weight of words, the impact of a single hashtag. Two groups linked by a societal misunderstanding of identity face a daily battle against invisibility and prejudice. Their stories, though different, are woven together by a common thread, the desperate need for understanding, for empathy in a world quick to judge. The screen becomes a barrier, a breeding ground for harmful narratives that simplify complex realities. Intersex individuals born with variations in sex characteristics are often forced into boxes that don't fit, their experiences conflated with unrelated concepts. The LGBTQ+ community, a vibrant tapestry of identities and orientations, confronts a barrage of stereotypes and misconceptions. Both groups navigate a world that struggles to see beyond labels, a world where misinformation spreads like wildfire in the digital landscape. But behind the noise, behind the hashtags and the heated debates are real people, people with hopes, fears, and the fundamental right to be understood. Born into a world obsessed with binary definitions, individuals with intersex variations often face a medical system ill-equipped to understand their needs. Their bodies, a testament to the natural diversity of human development, become a source of shame, a secret to be hidden. Forced into surgeries and treatments meant to normalize them, many carry the scars of a society that demands conformity. On a different path, individuals who identify as LGBTQ+ navigate the complex journey of self-discovery. Their identities, a spectrum of colors rather than a black and white image, challenge societal norms and expectations. Coming out, a deeply personal act of courage, can be met with acceptance or rejection, love or hate. Though their journeys are distinct, both groups share the weight of societal judgment. The pressure to conform, to fit into predefined boxes, casts a long shadow. The fight for visibility, for the right to define oneself on one's own terms, becomes a shared struggle. Sterile white light, cold steel. A baby's cries echo doctors' whisper, whispers laced with uncertainty, fear. The child, a medical anomaly, whispers follow home into family life. Parents pressured into life-altering decisions. Surgeries promise to fix, erase ambiguity, but these surgeries have consequences. Scars, physical and emotional, remain. The child grows up haunted by whispers. Childhood becomes a minefield of hushed conversations and averted gazes. Taught to hide their body, the child navigates a world demanding silence. Swimming pools and locker rooms become battlegrounds for exposure. The weight of secrecy becomes a suffocating cloak. Starved for information, the child scours the internet, met with silence or prejudice. The body becomes a source of shame, a reminder of otherness. Years pass, whispers echoing in the silence, scars deepened. A testament to trauma inflicted in the name of normalcy. The child, now an adult, carries the weight of early experiences. The fight for self-acceptance becomes a battle against societal conditioning. The internet, a vast repository of information, often fails to provide solace. Searches for intersex yield a smattering of medical journals, their language cold and clinical, devoid of the lived experiences of those they describe. Support groups, scattered and fragmented, offer glimpses of connection, but the overwhelming sense of isolation persists. Society, obsessed with binary definitions, struggles to categorize, to label. Intersex individuals existing outside these rigid constructs become invisible, their stories untold, their experiences erased. The media, complicit in this erasure, perpetuates harmful stereotypes, conflating intersex variations with gender identity and sexual orientation. further muddying the waters of understanding. This lack of visibility has real-world consequences. Intersex individuals, denied their right to self-determination, continue to be subjected to unnecessary medical interventions, their voices silenced, their stories untold. They become ghosts in the data, statistics in medical journals, their humanity obscured by a society that refuses to see them, to acknowledge their existence. While the medical world grapples with the tangible, the LGBTQ+ experience exists on a different plane. It's a universe of feelings, of attractions that defy societal norms, of identities that bloom in defiance of rigid definitions. This is not a monolith, but a kaleidoscope of individuals: gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, and everything in between. A young woman sitting at her childhood desk feels a tremor of recognition as she reads a poem about same-sex love. A teenage boy, staring at his reflection in the mirror, sees a flicker of something true, something that doesn't align with the expectations of his peers. These are quiet awakenings, often met with confusion and fear, a dawning realization that life as they know it is about to change. The path to self-discovery is rarely linear. It's a journey of exploration, of questioning, of shedding societal expectations and embracing one's authentic self. For some, it's a joyous celebration of identity, a coming-out story filled with love and acceptance. For others, it's a painful struggle for recognition, a battle against prejudice and discrimination. The decision to come out, to declare one's true self to the world, is a deeply personal act of courage. It can be a moment of liberation, a shedding of societal expectations, a chance to finally live authentically. But it can also be a source of anxiety and fear, a gamble with the love and acceptance of family and friends. Some find solace in the embrace of chosen families, a network of friends and allies who provide unwavering support. Others face rejection, judgment, and the heartbreaking reality of fractured relationships. The world, slow to embrace change, often reacts with a mixture of curiosity and fear, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and perpetuating a climate of intolerance. But even in the face of adversity, there is resilience. The LGBTQ+ community, forged in the fires of shared struggle, offers a haven, a space for individuals to find their voice, their strength, their tribe. Support groups, online forums, and community centers become lifelines, offering guidance, resources, and a sense of belonging. Section 3. Solidarity in Shadows. Pride parades, a riot of color and celebration, stand as a testament to the power of collective identity. Rainbow flags, once symbols of defiance, now represent visibility, a demand for recognition, a celebration of diversity. The LGBTQ+ community, united in their fight for equality, has achieved significant strides, yet shadows still linger. Discrimination persists in workplaces, healthcare settings, and within families. Hate crimes, fueled by ignorance and intolerance, serve as a chilling reminder of the fragility of progress. The fight for equality is far from over, requiring constant vigilance and advocacy. For many within the LGBTQ+ community, the journey is one of navigating a world still learning to see them. It's a journey of resilience, of finding strength in community, of fighting for the right to love and live freely. Section 1. Clashing narratives. The digital age, for all its connectivity, often amplifies misunderstanding. The very platforms meant to connect us become breeding grounds for misinformation, where complex realities are flattened into easily digestible but ultimately inaccurate narratives. The lines between intersex and LGBTQ+ experiences become blurred, leading to a dangerous conflation of two distinct groups. The intersex experience, rooted in biology, becomes entangled with the social and political discourse surrounding sexual orientation and gender identity. This conflation, however unintentional, has profound consequences. It erases the unique struggles faced by intersex individuals, reducing their experiences to a footnote in the larger LGBTQ+ narrative. This blurring of lines also harms the LGBTQ+ community. It reinforces the misconception that sexual orientation and gender identity are solely biological, ignoring the complex interplay of social, cultural, and personal factors that shape these identities. It feeds into the dangerous rhetoric of those who seek to pathologize LGBTQ+ individuals, framing their identities as a medical condition rather than a natural variation of human experience. Section 2. The weight of assumption. Imagine a life lived under the weight of constant misinterpretation. This is the reality for many intersex individuals and LGBTQ+ individuals who find their identities constantly scrutinized, questioned, and mislabeled by a society struggling to comprehend experiences that fall outside its limited understanding. For intersex individuals, the mislabeling can be particularly damaging. Forced into a binary system that doesn't recognize their existence, they are often subjected to invasive medical procedures and treatments aimed at fixing something that isn't broken. The psychological toll of this medicalization can be devastating, leading to feelings of shame, isolation, and a profound disconnect from one's own body. For LGBTQ+ individuals, the weight of assumption manifests in different ways. Constantly asked to explain their identities, to justify their existence, they face a barrage of microaggressions and outright discrimination. The pressure to conform, to fit into societal expectations, can lead to feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, and depression. The struggle for understanding is often a struggle for language. How do you articulate an experience that defies existing vocabulary, an identity that challenges societal norms? How do you bridge the gap between lived reality and societal perception when the very words used to define you are laden with misinformation and prejudice? For intersex individuals, the challenge lies in reclaiming their narratives from the medical world. It's about moving beyond clinical definitions and asserting their right to self-determination, to define their own bodies and identities on their own terms. It's about educating a society that often struggles to see beyond the binary, to recognize the spectrum of human variation. For the LGBTQ+ community, the challenge lies in dismantling the stereotypes and misconceptions that fuel prejudice and discrimination. It's about challenging the assumption that their identities need to be explained or justified, asserting their right to exist authentically without apology or explanation. It's about fostering a dialogue that is rooted in respect, empathy, and a willingness to listen and learn. The silence can be deafening. It echoes in the empty spaces between what is said and what remains unspoken, between the expectations of a world obsessed with normalcy and the reality of a body that defies easy categorization. This is the abyss that many intersex individuals face. A profound sense of isolation, a feeling of being adrift in a world that doesn't recognize their existence. They look in the mirror and see a stranger, a body marked by the scars of medical interventions, a testament to society's need to fix something that wasn't broken. The weight of secrecy, carried since childhood, becomes an unbearable burden, a constant reminder of their otherness. The world demands they choose a side, to conform to the binary of male or female, to fit neatly into a box that doesn't encompass the complexity of their being. Their truth becomes a whispered secret, shared only in the hushed confines of online support groups, their voices lost in the cacophony of societal misunderstanding. Imagine living in a world where your very existence is a source of debate, where your body is a medical mystery to be solved, where your identity is reduced to a collection of chromosomes and surgical interventions. This is the reality. For many intersex individuals, their humanity obscured by a society that struggles to see beyond the labels. They yearn for connection, for a love that doesn't require explanation, for a touch that doesn't flinch at the sight of their scars. But the fear of rejection, of judgment, keeps them tethered to the shadows, their true selves hidden behind a carefully constructed facade. Each day becomes a tightrope walk, a balancing act between the longing to be seen and the fear of exposure. They build walls around their hearts, protecting themselves from a world that has yet to learn the language of empathy. A world that mistakes silence for consent, invisibility for acceptance. The digital age, with its capacity for both connection and isolation, has amplified the struggles of those who exist outside societal norms. The experiences of intersex individuals and the LGBTQ+ community are interwoven by a shared struggle for understanding and the right to define oneself. The narratives we consume shape perceptions and influence how we treat each other. The silence surrounding intersex experiences must be shattered. We must listen to the voices of those who have been silenced. The conflation of intersex variations with LGBTQ+ identities erases the unique struggles faced by both groups. The path forward requires a fundamental shift in our understanding of identity. We must move beyond rigid binary systems and embrace the spectrum of human experience. Education is paramount, replacing misinformation with accurate, empathetic narratives that celebrate diversity and challenge prejudice. We must create spaces where vulnerability is met with compassion, where questions are welcomed, and where silence is no longer an option. The journey towards understanding is ongoing, requiring constant vigilance, empathy, and a willingness to challenge our own biases. It is a journey worth taking, for in recognizing the humanity of those who are different from us, we enrich our own lives and create a world where everyone has the right to exist authentically, to be seen, to be heard, and to be loved.